Hello?
Hey,
Hello, Mr. Girl.
hey,
Um, Hi. So, are you a pronatalist?
pro-natalist. I like babies. I think humans are good. Yeah, people should have
But
babies.
but not if coercion is the way to get there, correct?
Not, yeah, I'm anti-rape more than I'm pro-natalist. So if women are like, I don't want to have babies, then you shouldn't rape them.
In a UBI utopia, if a woman or a man chooses to sit at home and jerk off their whole lives instead of pursuing a family, is that
Yes,
better or worse than pursuing building a family?
it is worse. Individually, I think you want to have enough babies to sustain the population. Natalism, pronatalism can't be by any means necessary. I don't think anyone would say that. So,
Okay, I agree
if,
with you, but why? Like, why? Why?
well,
Because you said that like you would rather be tortured for eternity than die.
yeah,
So why doesn't that extend to the species?
because that's my own personal bodily autonomous choice. Not everyone has to do the same thing as me.
Okay, so
Also,
that makes sense.
bringing other people into existence is different from or not bringing them into existence is different from killing them.
I
So it's not
agree.
like it's not okay. So it's not like I kill someone every time I don't rape a woman that I pass by on the street who I could impregnate. That's not
That's
it's not
true.
murder.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it is I guess genocide in a way. Like or
Well, it's not. That's what I'm saying.
okay,
It's not
that's
genocide in
true.
a way.
You're right. It's
Okay.
true.
So to answer your earlier question, since pronatalism can't be, or in my estimation, at least my pronatalism is not at any cost. If we have enough people having babies, there's no population collapse or threat to the population, then I think it's perfectly fine for some people to jerk off instead of having babies.
Agreed. But okay, I'm still stuck on and I agree with you. I just don't know why. Why isn't pronatalism at any cost a good thing?
Because it overrides the bodily autonomy and consent of women and turns them into farm animals or slaves.
So that's kind of like a deontological reason.
Well, and men, if men don't want to have babies, people have to have sex to have babies. And so if you're
Yeah,
pro-natalist at any cost, that would mean if every other person on earth was like, I desperately don't want to have sex, and the only way to get me to have sex is to either hold a gun to my head or knock me out and put me in the auto fuck 9000 and make me have sex while I'm unconscious, then even if you're pro-natalist in the sense that you're like, I like people and I think we should continue the project, um you would have to start doing increasingly atrocious things in order to continue the project.
I mean, if we assume AI and economic growth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you could just get them to like, even if they don't want to, I guess, prick their finger and then get some blood sample or whatever you need, and then raise it by some robots, grow it in like an artificial womb, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and then that would be a lot less violating than
I don't
putting them
know.
in
I think the
auto fuck
idea of
9000.
someone against my will pricking my finger and then growing a 50% clone of me against my will does sound pretty violating.
Less violating than being put in the autofuck 9000, though, right?
It is less violating than the Autofuck 9000, but I still think it's a violation, and I still think we should not do it.
I agree, but why?
Because it starts to deform the idea of what society even is, and pronatalism inherently invokes some sense of a continuation of the current state of the project or the direction of the project. And so if the project is redefined as a kind of technological nightmare landscape where robots break into your house, prick your finger, and then clone you against your will, it changes what being pronatalist means. And so if someone says they're pronatalist, they are likely not saying they want to continue that. They want to continue either this or the direction that they think this is going. And when we start to change what this is too much, you are kind of it's like if someone orders like cheeseburger on a menu, and then you're like, oh, look, there was a piece of tape on the menu that you didn't know was there, and it says cheeseburger and fried rat, and it's like, well, that's what you want, that's what you wanted,
So
that's what you ordered.
essentially, extinction is better than dystopian society.
But everybody has their own definition
Right.
of
Yeah, sure, but that's what you're saying,
dystopia.
right? Is
I'm
that
I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying that pronatalist as a position cannot mean no matter what.
why not? I mean, I
You
thought you
sound
were
like
saying,
when I'm like I'm against the death penalty and people are like, oh, so you're pro child rape. It doesn't make sense. If you say you're pro something, you can construct any weird hypothetical where you're just like completely shifting everything else to
okay,
make their position sound
that's fair.
insane and specifically mean something that it obviously doesn't mean.
Okay, that's fair. I guess I was just pushing or testing the limits. We don't actually have to debate about that too much because I essentially agree with you. I was just trying to see why I agreed with you. But
Okay.
I was going somewhere with this.
You
I
agree with
forgot
me
what it
because
was.
because being pro something loses meaning if it has to mean pro no matter what weird hypothetical you
Yeah,
come up
that's
with. I
true.
will keep saying I choose this thing over anything else.
Well,
It makes it so the statement no longer means anything.
I mean, if your highest value is the species, like human life,
You
right?
don't
If your
have a
highest,
highest value. I'm saying it doesn't make sense because you don't actually have a highest value because every value is interconnected with other values and your sense of reality. So if I completely warp your sense of reality in the hypothetical to be completely different from your current sense of reality, your value no longer has any meaning. Well,
when you're talking about sense of
I'm not
reality,
saying
you're
it's an
talking about
abandonment of I'm not saying it's an abandonment of the value of pronatalism to say, well, if everyone has to eat rotten maggots 24 hours a day
yeah, yeah.
and your feet have to be on fire the whole time, are you still and women hate sex and don't want babies and you have to rape them and the babies are covered in maggots, would you still say that we should keep force impregnating them with maggot babies? And then if you're like, well, no, I guess not, then I'm like, ha, so you're not really pronatalist. Doesn't it I'm saying it's literally meaningless.
Okay. Um, that's fair. Okay, so then that means the definition of pro-natalist doesn't mean extending human consciousness no matter what. It means extending human consciousness within a reasonable society that's not a dystopian hellhole.
I'm
Um,
I I don't think you're
yeah,
going to be able to nail down an actual definition. I just
okay,
think
that's fair.
if you're going to use the term, because you asked me if I am one, you
Hmm.
gotta just think, what is a what do most people mean when they use this word? I think they mean let's keep the party going.
Sure, I agree.
Okay.
In terms of you stated the I guess the like opposition claim, which is like maybe women are being pushed towards like uh, so the pronatalist claim is that women are being pushed towards sorry, the left wing claim is that women are being pushed towards like um babies and having children that they don't want, and actually the birth rate going down is a good thing because it means that they're expressing their actual desires of going to work and having independence. But the right wing claim,
Well, the
which you
left wing
expressed,
the left wing claim could also be that the birth rate's going down because the quality of life still isn't high enough. That women need. There's a dip where women are like, yeah, I don't want to have babies unless I, have the resources I want. But if you give them
that
the
doesn't make any,
resources,
like you
if you give
pointed
them the
out, because
resources, it'll go back up. That could be a left wing
that doesn't make any
position too.
sense because the women who are most well off are having the least children.
I agree that it doesn't make sense, but that
Okay,
could be a progressive stance.
I understand and I agree that progressives hold that stance. The
Okay.
right wing claim that you articulated was um what was it again? Oh yeah,
It's that the
women are
birth
being
rate's
pushed
dropping
towards.
because women are being poisoned with unnecessary anti-family progressive values along
Yeah.
with some progressive values that are good like freedom and voting.
Okay. Do you have a bias? Is your bias the left one?
Is my
Like, do
bias
you have
what?
one? Do you have one which you're leaning towards?
Um no, I think of it the same way as I think of a client who doesn't track their food. I'm like, there's a lot of factors and I don't know what we can do to make the birth rate. What we want is we want women with high IQ, high education, high resource, high independence, high power, and we want those women in that situation to have babies. We don't want to export the baby having to poor women. We don't want surrogates. We don't we basically don't want to de facto take advantage of the fact that women are basically societally being raped in other countries and other societies. We need, if we're really progressive and feminist, we need to stay within the bounds of like we can't export it to poor women and we can't force or coerce or re-brainwash progressive women. And if they really just don't want to, we have to accept that. So it's a hard problem to solve because you can delude yourself into thinking you're solving it when really you're just coming up with a complex way to manipulate them. So women, in order to be progressive and feminist, women have to have UBI of some kind. They need to not rely on men to pay them to have babies or the state to pay them to have babies. We basically need UBI for everyone, but particularly women. And
Why?
then,
Why? Because then what?
because if you are a woman, having babies is a way to get fed by a man.
Yeah, or at least having sex. Yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm not talking about having sex. I'm talking about only about having babies. Having
Yeah,
babies is a way to get fed by a man.
yeah. Or I mean, often men care about the sex more than the babies, but
We're not
I'm just
talking
making an
about sex.
observation.
We're only, but your observation is completely off topic and pointless. So don't make it because
Okay.
you asked me a question. I'm trying to answer it, and
Sure,
when
sure,
you
sure,
say,
sure.
"Oh, well, often men care about sex," literally
That's fine.
it's worse than being irrelevant because it sounds like it is
Okay,
relevant and it's just confusing.
sure. I understand.
Okay, your question is why do women need free food and housing if we're going to be a feminist society? The answer is that as long as women are ever in a position where they can choose between being hungry and homeless or poor, or they can reproduce and be clothed, fed, and housed in exchange for the reproduction, we will not know why they are reproducing. So if you're committed to ensuring that all reproduction is deeply consensual as a feminist would be, then they have to have food and clothes.
Why isn't them working? Why isn't them working a solution?
Why isn't women working a solution?
Yeah, I mean they don't have to have kids to have
They
food.
don't have to have kids to have food.
They can work now in Western societies.
Because not everyone who works makes a livable wage. So yeah, sure. It could be that there are really easy jobs that anyone can do. 20 hours a week. And then if you have any disability that makes it so you can't do this job, you get UBI. I mean, it's still just effectively UBI, but sure, if you want to say that
It's
you,
not
you
UBI,
work
it's
at the
just
grocery store, you work at the grocery store and you make $250,000 a year, effectively
no.
is UBI, and still solves the problem. The point is that a lot of women have jobs, but those jobs do not adequately cover their healthcare, housing, they're in debt.
Yeah.
They are, so again,
Or
if you
enough money
they're
to
in
raise a baby.
some form of poverty, and so if you're choosing between poverty or I can have a baby with a rich guy, then
Yeah.
you've created a situation where women are not actually consenting to giving birth.
Okay, that makes sense. I understand
Okay.
that.
Okay. So
Okay.
the puzzle can only be solved once women are truly self-sustaining and de facto independent and have zero survival pressure on them to reproduce. Once
Okay.
that state is attained, then you'll start to be able to see what they really want and what the real, let's call it the purely consensual birth rate is. If it goes up above 2, then great, the problem's solved. If it dips lower than 1.6 where it is now, it goes down to like 0.5, then you have to start thinking relationally, like, is there something else we can change outside of the birthing process? Is there a new form of cesarean section? Is there some kind of medical advance that we can use to make actually giving birth easier? Is there more technology we can use to make bringing a baby to term easier? Is there a relational problem? Like it takes a village. Do we need to bring back hanging out in the yard and hanging out with your neighbors and watching each other's babies all the time? Do men need to step up? And basically like, what are all the different levers that we can play with to see how they affect the birth rate? And is there anything we can do to get it up to 2 that is not coercive?
I agree with all that.
Okay.
When I read the Women's Health article, I think it was Women's Health, that you linked in your first Substack article about the birth rate stuff.
Yeah.
So the writer is a woman, and her diagnosis of the problem is that there just aren't enough eligible men. I agree with this. I think there is a Peter Pan problem, as she put it. And I think partly it's economics, partly it's so like women are outperforming men and women are hypergamous. Partly it's I guess, I don't know, like some people there's abundance and some people just don't have to make the effort, even though they should. They have I think we have a societal duty to essentially keep the population going. Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
Do I agree with your framing?
Yeah, because like framing it all as, oh, it's women's. I mean, I know you're not doing this, but there is a frame in which it's women's fault if they don't have babies, is missing the part where men aren't.
But I didn't frame it that. I didn't frame it that
I know.
way.
You're not
So
framing it
then
that way.
what are you talking about?
Because if you're missing the part where maybe you're not missing the part.
I'm not missing the part. I literally just said maybe it's
No, no.
something relational between men and women that needs to change in order to make women want to have more babies.
That's fair. Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I have a point then. I think that's it. I can't think of anything. I thought I had a point, but I didn't. So.
Do you want to think for a second?
Yeah, give me like. I had a point. Hold on.
Okay. I'll look at chat.
Okay.
That's a left-wing position, but if you said if society has to facilitate it, then it's coercion. No, I didn't say that, Sock Rabbit. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And then I said I didn't say that. Well, I'm going to say it again. The hypothetical I asked you, the hypothetical question is, assume the following premise. By your own definition, women do not want to have enough babies to sustain the population, and by your own definition, the only way to get them to... No, I didn't say it last week. I am going to look at you. By your own definition, women need to be coerced. This is the premise of the hypothetical. So the respondent needs to imagine a situation where they think women don't want to have enough babies, and they think the only way women will have babies is if they're coerced. Then multiple people, in response to this premise, suggested, well, what if society facilitates it? My response to that is that you have either violated the premise of the question by suggesting a non-coercive solution, or you are staying within the premise of the question, which requires that the solution be coercion, and suggesting society facilitates it, which must therefore be defined by you as coercive, and you are simply relabeling coercion as facilitation. So there is no escaping the hypothetical question with societal facilitation, because the question requires that you think the only way to get these women to have these babies is by coercing them. Do you see how that doesn't make sense to then say, well, what if we just subsidize it? And then I say, okay, so I guess subsidization is coercion? Is that what you're saying? And then you go, oh, so now Mr. Girl thinks societal facilitation and subsidization is coercion. No, you think that. If you suggest it, then you think that.
Yeah, I think the by your definition thing is tripping people up, or they're just not understanding it. Okay, so
yes, if your threshold for coercion, if your threshold is rape, if that's the only way to get them to have babies, and you don't think anything else is coercive other than literal rape, then yes, that is the question for you. Would you rape them or let humanity go extinct? Okay, sorry, what were you going to say?
Okay, you might have answered this, but let's go to UBI land, where men and women are paying $250,000 a year. They don't have to do anything. They can play video games and do and so forth.
Yeah.
Do people have a responsibility, a duty, as a whole, not individuals, but as a society, to assuming there's no like super elite advance in like biological engineering, so like we can like do the finger prick or whatever, so it's easy and they don't have to raise them. Assuming we do have to have sex, have families, raise them, do people have a duty to have 2.1 kids?
No. You can't be. Yes, I'm pro-natalist, but I don't think anyone has a duty to have sex or reproduce.
Not anyone, but
yeah. So I don't think humanity as a whole has a duty to say, well, some women don't want to have sex, so we need to find some women who are going to do it anyway. 7,999,999,999 of us won't have sex, and we'll just have one woman who's just a super breeder we just rape the fuck out of her and she'll have all the babies. No.
Okay.
You cannot
Which society is better? One where people do have families.
That one.
And then
It's
Or
better
okay,
if
which
people
one's
have
better?
families.
Okay,
But it's not so
then
much better
surely.
that we should rape them to make them have
No, I'm not
families.
saying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying people can goon and play video games, or people can have families. You're saying the one where people have families is better than people just gooning and jerking and playing video games, correct?
If if the population is sustained, then they're both fine. But if we're choosing between
The population isn't sustained.
masturbation and extinction, or having families and not extinction, then obviously the second one is better.
No, we're choosing between masturbation and extinction or having
Yeah.
families. Therefore, society has a duty to keep the population going, or humans as a whole have a duty to keep the population going.
No, I don't think that follows. Me having a
Why?
preference, because me thinking something is preferable does not mean society has a duty to do it.
Do you think it's something? Okay,
I
why do
think
you
we
think
should
it's
keep
preferable?
pronatalism is I think we should keep the party going. It's
Yes, I
not
agree.
okay. It's not I think we should keep the party going no matter what.
I agree with that,
Great.
but
So duty
it's not.
means no matter what.
No, it doesn't. It
Yes, it
means okay.
does.
Okay, fair, fair. That's fair. Okay, they have a duty to keep it going, ruling out coercion. How's that? So it's okay. So
No, I don't.
there's.
Again, me liking something doesn't mean everyone else has to like it.
I'm not.
I don't think it means it's a duty.
Okay, you just think it's a preference, so it's subjective.
Uh, yeah. I like the idea of a fast food place that only has robot workers. I would go there.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I think society has a duty to have fast food restaurants with only robot workers. It just means that I like that.
Do you like a society that doesn't coerce women to have children?
I like a society that doesn't coerce women into having children, but not only do I like that, I think we have a duty to not coerce women into having children. No matter what.
Okay. Okay, no matter what.
Yeah. I think we shouldn't override women's consent ever. Far
Okay.
from thinking we have a duty to do that, I think we have a duty not to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Ever. Okay, yeah, yeah. But you okay. I can't think of anything right now, so I think I will leave it there. But
Okay.
thanks for the I'm trying to arrange a conversation between you and, or like, I'm trying to get someone to call into the hotline, a YouTuber. But I was hoping it was going to be a podcast conversation, but you said no to it because I vaguely mentioned that he's slightly to Destiny. And so
Yeah,
it's
I don't
annoying
think I
trying
can
to convince
I don't
him.
think I can do a podcast episode with someone who wants to be a Destiny orbiter.
I don't think he wants to be a Destiny.
I don't think I can do a podcast conversation with someone who likes Destiny.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're saying if Destiny said to him, "Do you want to be my right-hand man and appear on all my streams and go on trips with me?"
Absolutely not. No, he wouldn't. He's got his own. He's got his. I mean, as soon as I said, I was like, okay, I better mention this because Max is going to get mad if I don't mention this. But
So for
it's like,
$100,000 a year, he would say no.
yeah, he's not. He's got a different mission. He's like a Peterson fan or a pre-Daily Wire Peterson fan. He's got his own YouTube channel. He made a video about you like just on your own before the whole Destiny drama. It was like he compared you to Bo Burnham as like a generational artist in your radical honesty. I think you should reconsider.
I'm concerned about the Destiny thing. I'm concerned
I
about
understand.
the Destiny condoning.
Okay. I think he's like an honest, smart, intelligent, pro-natalist, culturally Christian, quote unquote. I don't know if he actually believes in God, just like me. Like he's like a Peterson fan, so like all of us are
I'll
kind of
see what
atheist, kind of
I'll see
Christian.
what Nathan thinks.
Okay, I think it'd be interesting, but I'm trying to convince him to go on the hotline because he won't do like a podcast. But we'll see what
Yeah,
Nathan thinks. I think that's a great solution.
I have to be careful.
That's fair. I completely understand why you don't want to get dragged into the whole nightmare again.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you, Max, and it was a good conversation.
Thanks
I'll
for
see you.
calling. All right, see you.
Thanks. You might have to kick me because I can't do that right now. Well, yeah.
I'll fucking kick you. Throw this fishy back in the ocean. Type shit. I never said that before. It felt good.